And now it's time for another Booze and News clip. Florida is the Don't Say Gay bill that just passed, and I believe, DeSantis just signed it into effect. So we've been talking about that a little bit on the show. That's where...
What is that exactly? Because I was reading, so it's like something that they can't teach gay in like school or something.
Right. So they're not teaching quote unquote sexuality, right, to kids, and they're posturing it as, we're just teaching these kids all this sex stuff at way too early of an age, right? And they're not teaching them anything about sex. What they're doing is they're preventing people from saying like, oh, I have gay parents. But now you can say I have straight parents, right? But if you have gay parents, you can't teach that. So if there's a book that they have that they give the kids that says my two dads or my two moms or whatever, right? You can't have that. Which is just trying to normalize it to where if a kid has two mothers, right? Some other kids that don't have that understand, well, why do you have two moms and I have a mom and a dad? Or why do I have two dads and you have a mom and a dad? You know what I mean?
Okay.
But they're preventing that discussion from happening in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade now because they say they can't handle discussing kids and their parents.
So this is only going to third grade.
Only going to third grade, yeah. And they had to change it too because there was a provision in there, an amendment that they took out or whatever that was about outing gay kids, young gay kids, and a lot of people.
Wait.
Yeah.
The first part doesn't seem like too crazy. Like I don't think that that's a conversation that, I get it to make them understand the shit, but kids can talk amongst themselves if like, hey, I'm your friend or whatever. I got two moms and oh, you got blah, blah, blah. Like I feel like that's just a natural conversation that could happen.
But think about this. I get what you're saying, but let's think about this. Let's say we use the same example of the kids, right? They come to school and they go, I can't talk about my two moms. I've got to say what? My mom and her friend?
No, talk about your two moms.
Of course, the kids aren't going to fucking know not to do that or whatever. That's their moms. That's their parents, right? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. What are they supposed to say?
So, but like, is it preventing like the book being passed out, or like
it's partially that, but it's also preventing like teachers being open about their marital status. So if you have a gay teacher, right?
Ah, okay.
That's like has a picture of them with their husband displayed. Well, I guess you can't have that. Now, if I have a picture with my wife, that's fine. Have that out all day. It's discriminatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like the thing that makes sense to me is like maybe don't give these kids books about this shit. Just let the conversation happen naturally. If your teachers, I had gay teachers before, like you know what I mean? Like it.
Well, sure, but they had to be in the closet. You know what I mean? Because the society was so fucked.
I don't know. I guess that's weird. The only thing I think that kind of makes sense is the don't give these kids the books thing. Other than that, you can have conversations about it. If the conversation occurs naturally.
But what's the problem? Okay, I hear you, but what's the problem with that book about my two dads? It's just like saying there were probably books. Think about it like this, Mega. There were books, I'm sure in the 70s, they were like my interracial parents. Because at one point you weren't allowed to be interracially married, right?
Yeah.
So whenever that started happening, they're like, hey, my interracial parents or whatever, you know? It's no different. Yeah. It's just explaining like this is a lifestyle that is possible, you know?
I mean, I guess like, yeah.
They're not explaining anal sex or fucking, lesbian porn to these kids. You know what I mean? Right. They're not just going, hey, look, check this shit out. This is scissoring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like if it's done the right way, then it's not a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, these kids aren't going up to other kids and being like, my dad sucks my dad's dick.
Yeah, of course not. Because they don't, of course not. So it's just so stupid. And it's just a way of like shaming. Thanks for watching. Follow Booze and News on Twitch. We live stream Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button. Subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we put up new content. Cheers.